Are you ready for the divine feminine revolution? Let's get vulnerable and go deep.
Hello, and welcome to the Divine Feminine Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Bunday, and I'm here with one of my favorite people, Alea Quiles. I am a Reiki master teacher and a certified breath coach, certified spiritual life coach, and also a multi-published author. Woo! Yes, I love that part. I love all of the healing modalities and everything, but books definitely a sweet spot in my soul. There's so much that you can put into a book and everybody's going to read it and get something different from it. And the books bring so much magic to people's lives at such an incredibly affordable price. Yeah, it really is leaving a legacy. I think the writing piece, I think it's tied to past lives. Oh, I just feel it really wanting to come through, but I feel the practical side of me is like, how do I get this published? How will this bring me money? How did you get over those fears of putting your voice out there, of going through the whole production process? Oh my goodness. It was a process. It literally was like birthing a book. Having it published is one of just my goals achieved. But it did not come without hardship. It took me about 2 years to publish my first book, just because of all the things that come up during the process. So when you're writing your book, the most important thing is you have to understand if you're writing your book just for fun, to accomplish a goal, to just get your message out there, are you writing for passion or are you writing for money? Because there are two totally different routes to go. And neither one is better than the other. And I have my passion projects and I have my projects that are gearing towards replacing my full-time income. But you have to know which way you are going because there's differences between those two. So if it's your passion project, definitely when you get seated down, have a general outline of where you would like to go. What is the whole premise of your work? What is the mission of this work to send into the world, right? And then you sit down and you write, and you can have your spiritual practices to help you get into that creative mode. And you can have your candles lit and your incense and whatever it may be, and get into the mode and just allow your creativity, your spiritual muse, your creative muse, just flow through you. And then once you've written, you can write like 500 words a day and you can be done with your book within a couple of months, depending with editing. But this is a huge thing. Do not go back and read what you wrote after you've written it. Wait till you are done and then you're moving into the editing process, because I can guarantee you the moment you'll go back to read what you have written, all of those things come through, the imposter syndrome or the where did that come from? Or let me just edit this a little bit and then edit this a little bit. And then you miss the message of what you were trying to convey and it changes into something completely different. So just waiting till that editing process to edit it. Because then once you get to that editing process and you start to read with different eyes, because now you're not writing, now you're editing, you will see all of the things that have come from your mind and your heart and just your entire being. And you'll be like, whoa. But I just feel creativity is such a powerful vehicle for transformation. And I feel like creativity has saved my life. It has been my coping strategy to deal with the tough times and everything. And so you mentioned art journaling. I always wanted to be an artist, but didn't have the practice or the art skills per se, but to have something like a coloring book or collage or vision boarding or whatever. It's been such a powerful practice because you really don't need the talent. You just need some stencils or some stamps or stickers or whatever. But I feel like that's so much what our culture needs right now. I think so few people are creative anymore. We're all consuming and we're not being creators. And to be a creator, we create our lives. We are the ultimate creator of what we experience. And so people would be like, I'm not creative. And I'm like, you're totally cutting yourself out from your power. Yeah, that's the most important thing you can be. You're a creator. Of course you're creative. So how
Yeah.
did you get over that with your process? Like just going ahead and making it a priority, like
because you can suffer imposter syndrome if you allow that to crop up, or the other fears that come along with it. Who's going to read this? What are they going to say? I can't do this. What if it's total garbage? What if I say something that triggers somebody? Like, what if it's just not received? What if somebody reviews it and they hate it? It would just completely derail any kind of creative flow or anything. And so being part of that accountability and being part of that sisterhood really did help me to finally finish my book, because then I was able to go back and be like, I'm done. All those things. That's why a lot of writers don't end up being published authors, because of those things that come up. You can end up putting that on the back burner because of all those things that come up. But if you have a passion for writing, or you want to tell your story, there are so many different ways to make it become a reality. If you have a budget, you can hire a ghostwriter. If you have a budget, you can hire someone to make your cover. You can hire someone to write your intro. You can hire somebody to write your outline. If you don't have a budget, you can obviously do all that stuff yourself. I think what I was just saying, that if you have a budget, you can get some of those things done. Like the full length book, almost 30,000 words. That's the one that took 2 years. It was a labor of love.
maybe that one in spurts, or like I went away for a weekend and did the outline, and that seemed to really work for me. I haven't been able to nail down an hour a day kind of vibe. Did you work on it daily? Was it in spurts, both?
Yes, I started with the outline just to make sure that I stayed on task and stayed on topic within the book. And then once I had that down, I sat down for about half an hour a day. I wasn't totally consistent with that. It was when I had the opportunity to do that. So
Also, like mama and homeschooling, and you have a business. So, like,
yes, yeah.
you're a busy woman.
So I would just sit down and I would speak the book. So I used dictation, which I do not recommend. If you speak like you write, then it might be okay. But if you just spend about not even 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe, if you have the time, you can get at least 300 to 500 words a day, and just you on that train of creativity, that flow of inspiration, just allow it to come. It's a lot easier that way. And even if you sit down and you're like, I don't even know what to write. Like, why did I even put this in the outline? Why? Even if you sit down and you still feel like that, and you just allow yourself to write, you can even say, I don't even know what I'm talking here. I don't even know why I put this in the book, and blah, 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 blah. And then you'll just start typing and you'll start writing, and it'll just start forming itself on the page.
Thanks for listening to the Divine Feminine Revolution podcast. Make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Want to keep the conversation flowing? Find us where revolutionary women gather to listen to their hearts, monetize their gifts, and change the world.